Recursion. Today, what we are discussing in functions is the concept of recursion. Now, what recursion is? Within a function body, if a function calls itself, generally what happens is that some another function is calling the function. Like in most of the cases, we have seen that main calls a function. Yes? Say for example, this is my main. So in this you can see void main int n factorial int n fact int, then here is the function call. Here you can see there is a function call. So main is calling the function fact n. If this is the function fact, then main is calling this function fact n. So this is a normal function call, right? But when within the function body, a function calls itself. Here you are seeing that fact is being called by main, right? But if a function is calling itself, no other function is calling it, but the function itself is calling itself, that mechanism is known as recursion. That means when a function calls itself other than some other function calling that function. So if fact is a function and if void main is another function. So if main is calling fact, that is normal function call. But if fact is a function and fact is only calling itself, like here you can see this is fact function and fact function is calling itself over here. You can see fact n minus 1. So fact n is calling fact n minus 1. So basically parameters have been changed but the function is same. So fact is calling fact. So this is something unique, right? Because in normal function call, a main or some other function will call the other function. Main will call the function fact. So one function calling the other function. But here you can see this function calling itself. So this is something very unique. So this mechanism is known as recursion. So this mechanism of a function calling itself is known as recursion. And such kind of functions are known as recursive functions. So a function which calls itself is known as a recursive function. Therefore, we can say that a chain of function call occurs. So if a function is calling itself, then there is a chain of function call. That means a function will keep calling and calling itself. So a chain of function call will keep on happening. So to avoid that, every recursive function must have a terminating condition. So to come out of that loop or to come out of that chain of a function calling itself again and again, there must be a condition after which the uh, calling process terminates, and such a condition is known as the terminating condition. So a condition on the occurrence of which the process of the function calling itself stops, that is the chain of function call stops. Such a condition is known as the terminating condition. So every recursive function must have a terminating condition. Now, to better understand the concept of recursion, we will see an example program, that is a program to find the factorial of a number. Right, not everywhere do you require recursion, but recursion is required in certain cases wherein you need to call that function again and again, right? So instead of calling that function again and again, or if you think that the same task is being performed in iterations or in a loop, like we have a for loop here. So if the same task is being performed in loop or in iterations, so instead of using loop for that, we can use the recursive function in place of that. So a sample program or an example program for this is to find the factorial of a number. So we will see how recursion is performed for finding out the factorial of a number. So I'm sure till now you must be clear with the concept of recursion. A normal function call main or some other function will call the required function. But in a recursive function call, the function itself will call itself, right? So this is the recursive call. So this is the difference between a normal function or a non-recursive function and a recursive function. Now moving on, here, as I told you, we will see an example to find out the factorial of a number. Now factorial, all of us know how factorial is calculated. The formula for factorial is, for example, you want to find out the factorial of 5. So the factorial of 5 will be calculated like 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which gives you 120, right? Similarly, if you want to find out the factorial 4, how it will be calculated? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which gives you 24, right? So this is the basic formula for finding out the factorial of a number. Now using a program, how will you do that? You will apply a logic, you will for finding out the factorial of a number. Now one way is to do it without using recursion, that is using a non-recursive function. So first of all, we will see the basic concept of how we will find out the factorial of a number. So just like any other program, we have include stdio.h over here, then we have void main over here. Okay, now two variables we have declared and in main, which are integer variables, int n and factorial, right? Then there is a function declaration over here, int fact int, which declares that we will be using a function named as fact, whose return type will be int, and which will be having one argument passed to it, and the data type of that argument will be integer. Now moving on, within main we say enter any number. So within main only I want to take the input from the user. So I say enter any number, basically any such number whose factorial you want to find out. So that number when entered by the user is scanned here and stored in a variable named as n. So n is basically now storing that number whose factorial you want to find out, right? Now here you make a function call, you say factorial is equal to fact n. The moment you say call fact by passing an argument n, a function call occurs. That means the control will now jump to this particular function. The control jumps here. It skips this line, as I told you earlier also. Anything which is written after that line where function call is made is skipped. And the moment a function call is made, the control jumps to that function which is being called. So this is that function which is being called, right? Now here we will be discussing the non-recursive function first of all, so that we can make out what is the difference between a non-recursive function and a recursive function. So first of all, we make a non-recursive call, that is main is calling the function fact n. So the moment function call is made, control goes here. Now int fact int n, what does this n receive? This n receives this n which has been passed by main. So n is basically storing that number whose factorial you want to find out. Now within this function you again declare two variables of integer type. One is your res, that is basically this indicates the result. So as of now the result is 1. So the factorial of the number will be storing 1 as of now. Right, so if I want to find out the factorial of 5, that means in that case n is 5 and result is res is storing the result of factorial. So you know, for any matter whatever the number is, the factorial has to be have 1 in it. If it right, any number, if it is 5 factorial it will have 1 in it, if it is 4 factorial it will have 1 in it. So anyways the result will have 1 in it. 1 multiplied by any number gives that number. So for being on the safe side, we put the result, initialize the result as 1, right? Then we have a counter variable named as I over here, right? Counter variables are those variables which are used for incrementing or decrementing in a loop. Now here we have the for loop. within the for loop I say I equals to n, right? I initialize I with n here. I'm initializing the counter variable with the largest number, and I will see that it is never less than 1. Either it is greater than 1 or it is equals to 1, because at most you can find the factorial of 1, but for no number less than 1. So whenever you have to find the factorial of a number, it has to be either 1 or greater than 1. It can never be less than 1. Hence this condition that I is greater than equals to 1. Now since I am starting with the maximum number, so I will decrement this counter here. You are seeing that I am decrementing this counter here, because generally how is the factorial generated? If it is the factorial of 5, then first of all 5, then 5 is decremented 4, then 4 is decremented 3, then 3 is decremented 2, and then finally till 1. The moment we reach 1, we stop. So this is what we are checking here, that I is always greater than or equals to 1, and I keeps on decrementing till this point. That means till it reaches 1, it will keep on decrementing. So this is the basic method of finding out the factorial of any number. Even if it is 4, it will start from 4, 3, 2, 1. If it is 3, it will start from 3, 2, 1. So the basic formula for finding out the factorial for any number is like this. So this is the logic that we are using over here. Now it says that result equals to result into 1, right? So what is the result initially? 1, right? When I equals to n, and I is greater than equals to 1, and I minus minus. So first of all I will initialize I equals to n. So I is now n, that is I is equals to 5. The counter variable is initialized to 5. Now I am checking whether I is greater than equals to 1. Of course 5 is greater than 1. Okay. Then I enter inside this loop and I say result equals to result into 1. So obviously 1 into 1 will give you 1, because initially result is 1, and if you multiply it with 1 you get a 1. So the result is 1 over here. Then again you go back to the beginning of the for loop, and then you decrement 5 this time. So when you decrement I this time, so it becomes 4. Then again if you check if it is greater than equals to 1, yes, 4 is greater than 1. So you say result is equals to result into I. I'm sorry, it's not 1 over here, it is I over here. So result equals to result into I. Earlier the value of I was 5, so 1 into 5 gave you 5. Right? So result was 5. Now result it says is result into I. So what is the value of I right now? The value of I is 4. So now result will give you 4 into 5, which gives you 20. Right? It gives you 20. Now again you go back to the beginning, you decrement I becomes 3. Then again you say enter the loop, you check the condition if I is greater than equals to 1, yes 3 is greater than 1, then you say result equals to result into I. So result into I is 20 into 3, which gives you 60. So result is 60. Then again you go back to the beginning, decrement this to 2. Then again you say result equals to result into I. Now I is 2. So 60 into 2 gives you 120. Right? Again you go here, decrement I, it becomes 1. Then you check if it is greater than equals to 1. This time it is equals to 1. Okay, condition is still satisfying. So you enter inside the loop. Result equals to result into I. Result is 120. I is 1. So 120 into 1 gives you 120. So the result is finally 120. So again you go back to the beginning. Now you decrement I, it becomes 0. Now you check the condition. No, it is not satisfying the condition, because it is neither greater than 1 nor equal to 1. It is less than 1. So you do not enter this loop. So when you do not enter this loop, you come to the next line which says return result. So what is the result? 120. So when you encounter this statement, you come out of the loop and you reach here. So now this fact will return the value, that is result, and that value is stored in factorial. That result is stored in factorial variable. So the value of result is given to this factorial variable, which is 120, and then you finally print the factorial is %d n and percentage d takes its value from factorial. So you can see that it will say printf, it will say that factorial is 120. So this is about the non-recursive function. This I was talking about the non-recursive function. Here this is I, this is not 1, this is I. Okay. Now using recursive function, how this thing will be performed using recursive function, we'll see here. Now this time what is happening is that of course you have a main here also, right? You have a main here also. So the main will remain same. So what we will do, this recursive function, this thing is not here, main is always there, so main will be same for recursive function also. So again you say include stdio.h main, you have declared two integer variables n and factorial, you declare fact, this function named as fact, to which one argument of data type integer is passed, and again the return type of this function is also integer. This is the function declaration or the function prototype. Then you say printf enter any number. Of course here also within main you ask the user to input the number, right? Then you scan it and store it in a variable n. Now again let us assume that that number n is 5. You ask the user to enter the value of n and n is 5 here, right? Now factorial equals to fact n. Now again you made a function call. Now here we are not considering this function. We did not write this function. Forget about this function. Now this time we wrote this function. So when I call fact n, then that means I am calling which function? The function call. I will delete this function over here. So what I can see here, there is only one single function, so you will not get confused now. So this is the function I'm talking of right now. So this is using recursive function. So you say, the moment you say factorial equals to fact n, that means a function call is made to which function? To this particular function. And as I told you, the moment you make a function call, the control jumps from this line to that function which is being called, and for that particular moment the next immediate line is ignored. Okay, anything after the function call is ignored and the control immediately jumps to the function which is being called. So you are quite clear with this concept now. Okay, now our entire focus is on this particular function, that is on the recursive function, right? Main we are done with. Main will be same in any case for either a non-recursive function or a recursive function. So that is the reason we use the same main for both the functions. Now we will just concentrate on the recursive function. How using recursive function now we are calculating the factorial of a number. So again, if let us assume that in main when I ask the user to enter the value of n or the number, he said 5. He wanted to find out the factorial of 5 again, right? So when I call this function, what is passed over here? 5 is passed over here. This n is 5, right? So now I go inside this function. When I go inside this function, I see again the return type here is of this function is integer. That means it will return an integer value. Now within this function, when I come inside this function, I again see a variable named as result, which or res, which is representing the result. So basically res the result of factorial, and again its data type is integer. Now, as I told you that every recursive function must have a terminating condition, because otherwise there will be a chain of function call. The function will keep calling itself again and again, and there will be no end to it. So in order to end that chain of function calls, I need a terminating condition. So this is that terminating condition here in my case. Okay, in this particular function the terminating condition is n equals to 1, because you know if n is equals to 1, then you do not need to go on further, then you do not need to do anything else. Okay, in that case you simply return 1. So this is the terminating condition. That means the moment you encounter a 1, you will return the value. You will return 1, and the moment return is encountered, the control goes back to the calling function. So this is the terminating condition here, because the moment n equals to 1, you say return 1, and the moment compiler encounters a return, it comes out of the function which is called and goes back to the calling function. So this is my terminating condition over here, right? So this is, in every recursive function you must have a terminating condition like this, with the help of which you can come out of that function. Okay, now moving on, as I told you, result res will store the result of the computation. Then you say at first, the first condition that you have kept is if n equals to 1. So in any case, if n is 1, you will return a 1 and come out of the function. If it is not 1, so you will go to the else condition, because you know that when the if condition is not satisfied, you go to the else condition. So what is the else condition saying? Result equals to n into, result is equal to n into fact n minus 1. So this is a recursive call, because the function is calling itself again. Fact n is calling fact n minus 1. So that means arguments doesn't matter. No, argument can be n minus 1, anything. But the main thing is the function. So fact is calling fact. Here you can see this is the recursive call. So fact is calling fact. So the function is calling itself. So this is the recursive function call. So what you did, instead of using the loop here, instead of having the loop here, you called the function itself, right? Now how this function is being performed, how the factorial is being computed with the help of recursive function call, this we'll see here. Now initially result is having no value, right? So result is, I say, n into fact minus 1. Now what is the value of n? Value of n here is 5, right? So result is holding, that means 5. Now we will just concentrate on the result. So result is 5 into fact n minus 1. So fact n minus 1 means 4, right? This is the first time this function is called. Now the moment I said fact n minus 1, that means a function call was made, and the control will go back from here to here. Now what is the value of n now? N minus 1. N minus 1 is 5 minus 1, which is equals to 4. So that means when I say fact n minus 1, when I call fact n minus 1, I am calling fact 4. So here 4 is passed as an argument. So what value has n received now? The value of n is 4 now, right? So the value of n is 4 now. So then again I go inside this function. Obviously n is not 1 right now. So I'll go to the else condition. So again it says result equals to n into fact n minus 1. So it will become 5 into, 5 is already there. So 5 into, now what is n? N is 4. And what is fact n minus 1? Fact n minus 1 is fact 3, right? So okay, so the moment I say fact 3, a function call is made, and now 3 is passed to n. Then again I come inside, n is not equals to 1, so I go to the else condition. Then result equals to n into, that is 5 into 4 will be there. Then what is n? 3 into fact n minus 1 means fact 2. So the moment I say fact 2, a function call is made and 2 is passed to n. Okay, then again I come inside. If n equals to 1, no. So I go to the else condition. So when I go to the else condition, that means n into, what is n? 2 into fact n minus 1. What is fact n minus 1 now? 1. So the moment I say fact 1, a function call is made and the control goes here, and now n is passed on the value 1. So now I enter inside. Now I check if n equals to 1. Yes, now n is 1. So that means I have reached my terminating condition. So it has been already 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into So fact 1, in case of fact 1, what is it asking me to return? It is asking, in case of n equals to 1, it is asking me to return 1. So this is 1. So finally 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is 120. In total, I will return to the calling function which will be collected here. So factorial is collecting the value 120 and then it is printed here in this line. So basically same thing is being done but in a different manner. So instead of having a loop and doing that, us having to do the task again and again in the loop, using iterations. So to avoid iterations, instead of using iterations, what we have done is that we have made the function call itself, right? So we have made the function call itself by changing the values of n, because we know every time the value of n will be decremented. So we did n minus 1. So this is how we have calculated the factorial using a recursive function.